Shall we begin, sir? What was the question that I asked before I finished my last? Where did we end actually? Efficacy, not too bad, thank you. Efficacy meaning, you are right actually, yes. Right, ladies and gentlemen, we will understand this case, Novartis. This is a very, very interesting case actually. The case involves a blockbuster drug. The trademark is Gleevec. This is a blockbuster drug for Novartis. Do you know the expression blockbuster drug? You know, one or two drugs make or mar a company. Okay, very recently, I must tell you also before I begin this lecture, very recently, immensely successful, yes, that's true. For example, I'll give you two drugs and thereafter I'll take this illustration. For example, one of the biggest blockbusters for Pfizer is sildenafil citrate, what is popularly known as Viagra. Annual sales of Viagra is something like $2 billion. And 20-year patent monopoly, total sales is $40 billion. One-time extension of 5 years, another $10 billion. You understand what I am saying? So you are talking about one molecule getting the company something like $50 billion in sales. And in a monopoly product, let's keep the profit margin at 40%, right? So one molecule had given Pfizer something conservatively, something like $10 billion over 25 years. And one more blockbuster drug is Lipitor, atorvastatin, right? This is a $3 billion per year drug, okay? 20-year monopoly, $60 billion, 5-year patent term extension, that makes it $75 billion. So, one product, if the blockbuster need not necessarily be a patented product. For Reddy Laboratories, omeprazole, Omaze, became a blockbuster drug. Omaze, omeprazole, was invented by AstraZeneca. At that point of time, there was no product patent protection in India. This is a drug of 1980s actually. Okay. Because of that, Reddy Lab was able to replicate omeprazole in India. They sold it under the name Omaze. And believe me, the biggest success of Reddy Lab, right, came from this one product, omeprazole. Okay. Now, like this, Gleevec was a blockbuster drug for Novartis. Some information about the Gleevec. The active chemical ingredient, okay, active ingredient, that's the expression that the pharma people use, is imatinib. And imatinib was invented somewhere in 1992. By 1994, it received FDA approval for treating different types of cancers. Okay, that is the starting point. So imatinib is the active ingredient. See, getting a new drug, new molecule, what we call as active ingredient, is only stage one of the invention. Thereafter, you have to determine the most appropriate method of, is it necessary to get regulatory approval? No, not at all. Okay, because some of the patented molecule, they don't even apply for a regulatory approval because even the company realizes, see, please remember, the very good question somebody is asking. I can tell you that in the pharma industry, You can invent a molecule at a cost of less than $100 million. But for getting regulatory approval, sometimes in respect of a new molecule, they spend as much about $400 million. It is not necessary to get a regulatory approval even before you apply for a patent. It takes about 3 years for you to get a patent. And after 3 years, the company will evaluate the chances of getting regulatory approval. And in fact, many companies don't do it themselves. They do it in collaboration because if the regulatory approval fails, that company may be driven to bankruptcy. Okay, that's what happened in respect of one of the important drugs also. The active ingredient is imatinib. That is the first invention. In the market, what you see as a successful blockbuster brand is due to a combination of several incremental innovations built around the active ingredient. After inventing the active ingredient, the biggest problem that the pharmaceuticals companies face is stabilizing it. You know, the active ingredient, it may not be very stable, and the chemicals, they continuously change, and the changes in the life cycle of the chemical can make the product positively dangerous to the human beings or animals. So they have to stabilize it. So if you ask a person skilled in pharma industry, what is the best method of stabilizing an active ingredient, he will immediately say, make it into a salt or base. Okay, this is something which is obvious to a person skilled in the art. Anyone in the pharma industry will immediately say, after inventing the active ingredient, we have to make it stable. So, there are about hundreds of pharmaceutically acceptable salt. Okay. So the best method will be, after inventing the active ingredient, you have to look at the best salt form. Okay. You convert it into a salt essentially to make it more stable. Okay. So there may be about 500,000, 2,000 pharmaceutically acceptable salt of the active ingredient. But after a lot of research, Novartis concludes mesylate is the best pharmaceutically acceptable salt for prescribing imatinib. So what was imatinib? Became imatinib mesylate. This is the first incremental innovation. The next incremental innovation in this is, it must be a crystalline form of imatinib mesylate. And the next incremental innovation is, it must be a beta crystalline form of imatinib mesylate. So what you saw as a one invention becomes three inventions, okay? And these three stages are obvious to a person skilled in the art, and they may not qualify for a patent because inventive step is lacking. Now, please remember, in 1993, imatinib was invented, 92. 94, it received the regulatory approval. Somewhere by 96, they found that beta crystalline form of imatinib mesylate will have surprisingly beneficial results to treat certain forms of blood cancer. And this discovery or invention made imatinib mesylate Gleevec a blockbuster drug. What did they find? Look here. If you administer it as beta crystalline form of imatinib mesylate, then the bioavailability of the drug to the patient goes up by about 30%. You know for those in the non-pharma industry should know that if about 100 milligrams are administered as a drug, your intestine will probably get about 30 milligram. Okay, and your intestine gets 30 milligrams, but the body may just get about 15 milligrams of it. So for your body to get 15 milligrams, pharmacist will try to prescribe you 100 milligrams. And this has its own problem. The increase in bioavailability, according to them, constitutes a significant improvement in efficacy within the meaning of section 3D. Now I want the answers for efficacy. Efficacy means different things to different people. But the meaning that was preferred by IPAB is, see, remember, I'll tell you, now I am producing a molecule. I'll ask you some questions, you try to answer it, give me an answer over screen or type it, whichever way you feel convenient. I am producing a molecule, a pharma molecule for 15 rupee cost. Now, I reduce the cost to 2 rupee. Do I increase the efficacy? No. Good answer. I agree. Now, that molecule requires to be produced in a particular process which is environmentally disastrous. I make it by a process which is more environment friendly. Do I increase the efficacy? No. Correct answer. Okay. No. Correct answer. I don't increase the efficacy. Now, let me put you another way. I invent a molecule, we increase the bioavailability, sir. Okay. Right. The capacity to produce an effect, it's not too bad. But it is all not the 100% right answer. Okay. Now let me ask you one more question. Now I invent a drug, an antibiotic, which has got disastrous effects on my gut bacteria. You know that? You watch Dr. Pal occasionally? Dr. Palli-Monikam? Okay. Watch his YouTube. Okay. Don't worry, that's a digression. Now, when you apply an antibiotic, it kills a lot of beneficial bacteria in your gut. That is why an antibiotic prescription is always accompanied with a vitamin B complex prescription because the gut bacteria gets spoiled. Now let me put it to you another way. Answer this question. I invent a drug and that drug cures the disease, but it gives continuous itching in my body. Now I come up with the form of a drug that reduces the itching. Do I increase the efficacy? Now please remember, reduction in side effect does not increase the efficacy, but it only facilitates ease in administration of a drug actually. So, for a common man, a lawyer like me, the question whether there is an increased efficacy will be answered by a very simple further question. Is it better than what it was? If the answer is yes, okay, then I will say there is increased efficacy here. Whether it is cost of production, producing it in a more environmentally friendly manner, reducing the side effects, all this definitely make it better than what it was earlier. There is no doubt about it. So, it is better than what it was before, therefore, it has got an improved efficacy. But under pharma, the word efficacy means ability of a molecule to cure a disease or disability. You understand? When I reduce the cost, I don't increase the ability of the molecule to cure the disability. When I reduce the side effects, I don't increase the efficacy. When I make it in a more environmentally friendly process, from the point of view of a pharmacologist, there is no increase in efficacy, though it was better than before. If I am a common man, I think it will have increased the efficacy. But if I am going to be what I call, if I am going to be a pharma person, okay, this is not increased the efficacy. Alright, let us go back to the Novartis case. The Office of the Controller of Patent Chennai held that the Novartis claimed priority under the Paris Convention on Industrial Property, okay, 1883. And Switzerland was not a member of the Paris Convention, so Novartis claimed a wrong priority on this procedural ground, okay, the patent was rejected. But Novartis challenged the order before IPAB. It was taken up by Justice Prabhas Sridevan, who had a reasonably good grounding in chemistry. So that enabled her to appreciate, specifically rejected the contention that even 30% increase in bioavailability would not be an improvement in efficacy, because efficacy there means clinical or pharmaceutical efficacy, meaning the ability of a molecule to cure a particular disease or disability. In this case, see, the judge has got an option. They can accept either the dictionary meaning, which is how most of us would like to do, or the industry-specific meaning. In pharmacology, the word efficacy means the ability of a molecule to cure a particular disability. The case, the Honorable Judge preferred to adopt the expert understanding rather than following the common man's understanding, namely dictionary meaning of the word. Okay. Now the Supreme Court upheld the orders of the IPAB, and this remains the binding precedent. Today, Novartis law governs that there must be increased efficacy. Okay. Now, last word on the topic. Yes, I see. Does increasing shelf life can be? Yes, it is. It is. Okay. The point is that is not increasing efficacy. Increasing the shelf life, okay, you look at it as a problem. Then for that incremental innovation, you apply again novelty, utility, non-obviousness, statutory subject matter, and if the fourth test is done, it can be either a patent of addition or an altogether new patent actually. Alright, increasing the shelf life, you have to check whether is this obvious to a person skilled in the art? The question, Novartis filed a patent for increased bioavailability. Oh, no. This question, in fact, Novartis was able to establish that there is 30% increase in the bioavailability. Increasing the bioavailability need not necessarily constitute increased efficacy. That is the judgment of Prabhas Sridevan. Alright. Now, let me go into something else actually, 3E, because I know that I have many other things to... Okay, I'm giving you some links. What is the exact meaning of efficacy in terms of a drug molecule? It simply means, as per the Novartis case, ability of a molecule to cure a disability or disease. Now, let me put it to you in one way. Now we'll come to an admixture patent. Okay. Now, see, please remember one more question I see. Does any new for the new molecule be considered as efficient? This question will be answered very soon. A substance obtained by mere admixture, mere means just. You find the expression mere again. Mere admixture resulting only in the aggregation of the properties of the component thereof, or a process for producing such substance. For example, oral rehydration solution. Right? How many, the biggest killer in the developing world is infant mortality. 2/3 of the children die out of diarrhea before they reach the age of 5. And the death in the diarrhea, death caused by diarrhea is more due to dehydration. So, this is a product which came from Bangladesh actually. What they do is soon after a flood, what they do is the mother's clean Bengal cotton saree becomes a filter for the water, 1 gram of salt, 1 gram of sugar, 1 gram of salt in 1 liter of water. This is oral rehydration therapy. Okay, commonly available material. This is not capable of industrial application because it does not produce the same result every time. Okay, and it is more a domestic home cure remedy. It's not something which is done by an industrial process. But if a oral rehydration solution containing glucose, sodium chloride, sodium bicarbonate, potassium chloride, given with an orange essence, right, makes it more palatable. Okay, so that becomes a patentable invention. Now, let us look at it like that. There are several questions on that, and there are 2 more links I am going to provide at the end of the lecture. So where I am taking 2 important, they are available in YouTube. I am going to provide you the links to the YouTube videos as part of this PowerPoint itself. Click it at a later point of time because I am just having about another 1 hour for me to complete the section 3 and the patenting process. So I'll just give you some more reading material. Please have a look at it yourself. Now, you see 2 pictures there. You see my PowerPoint? There is a picture there. Can you identify what is this umbrella looking thing? Any guess? You see an umbrella there, right? What is that umbrella? Now I want to ask you, how many of you have heard of a pepper sprayer? What is a pepper spray? Yes. There was a member of parliament from Andhra Pradesh, Subramya Reddy, carried the pepper spray into the parliament. You know that? Okay. okay. Used to for self-defense. Now, I want to ask you this question. If you are a woman in South Africa, working woman in South Africa, or many of my journalist and lawyer friends, okay, who anticipate danger to their physical safety because they sometimes have to take on some very tough people. They don't like to carry a gun or knife in their handbag, but they don't mind carrying a pepper spray. It comes like the Volini or many of the anti-asthmatic medicines that many of you working women carry. They just put that spray in their mouth, right? Like that. The pepper spray. See here, the umbrella, everybody carries to the office, right? This part, the red part of it, is the pepper spray canister. The yellow button there is the release mechanism. Okay. Now, you carry an umbrella and some offender or a rogue tries to threaten you when you are on way to your house in a desolate place. So he thinks that you have only an umbrella. But when you press that nozzle, the umbrella through its tip releases the pepper spray. Now can this be patentable? Answer please. It is a combination of umbrella and a patent, right? Rakesh Singh, no. Why no? Why no? Why no? Okay, now we will look at this also, this umbrella also. A battery operated fan enclosed within an umbrella. Usually the umbrella has got a central stem that goes up to the very top. This is patentable. Umbrella is a well-known design. No, assume novelty here. Why it is not patentable? And why the previous one is patentable? That is the question. Okay. Now, please remember, read the word functioning independently of one another in a known way. Try to understand that expression. Mere arrangement of two things that are already in prior art. That's a pretty good answer, Rakesh. Both exist separately. Very good answer. I like that. The class is fully with me and I'm glad to be in this class. Functioning independently of one another in a known way. This umbrella, you answer yourself this question. Can you use the pepper spray when the umbrella is closed or open? Whether the umbrella is closed or open, you can use the pepper spray. You need not use the pepper spray and you only use the umbrella. So here, there is no dependency between the pepper spray and the umbrella design. Whereas, you look at this, can the fan function when the umbrella is closed? No. So therefore, unless the umbrella is open, you cannot use the fan. So go back to the expression, previous slide. Functioning independently of one another in a known way. Here, it functions dependently. You understand? Some of you wrote out the answer also as I saw it actually. Okay. It can either function as a pepper spray or as an umbrella. Here, if you look at it, unless the umbrella is open, the fan cannot function. So, there is a dependency. This is patentable and the previous one is not. All right. Now, what are non-invention? A method of agriculture or horticulture is not patentable here. This is actually a very difficult and a highly emotional area. You know that India at the time of independence, 85% of the people were dependent on agriculture directly or indirectly. But today, it is only 50%. The 50% of the Indian agriculturists contribute just to about 15% of the India's GDP. Whereas this IT, pharma, BT, ad industry crowd, they are less than 1% of India's population. Services industry, ITES, IT enabled services, just less than 1% of the Indian population. But they contribute something like 12% to India's GDP. So, we had a lot of mind block, okay, on protecting inventions relating to agriculture. And in fact, there is a very special legislation, namely Plant Varieties Protection Act, okay, inventions relating to agriculture are patentable. For example, you come up with a specialty fertilizer. If you have a domestic garden, you may have a rose plant and there is a rose mix fertilizer, right? Nothing but actually a horse dung. Really, horse dung is a good fertilizer, rose. But you know, horse dung stinks. So we don't want to keep horse dung in your gardening area because the stench becomes impossible to. So anyway, and you can come up with what I known as a different varieties. For example, sugar cane, right? Sugar cane by weight has got just about 18% of the sucrose content. And in this 18%, just about 8 or 10% is recovered. The remaining 6% is not recovered and allowed to go as part of the bagasse. So if people use bagasse or molasses for the purpose of making alcohol, and that becomes a side industry. Now if someone comes up with a sugarcane variety which has got 30% sucrose content in it by weight, that becomes a new plant variety. And that becomes patentable under the Plant Varieties and the Farmers' Right Protection Act. I have put up another course on that. There is a separate legislation. You also will have some lectures over a period of time. I'm sure that even as part of your timetable, Plant Varieties Protection Act is going to be covered. So therefore I skip it and leave it to the next teacher who is going to do it in the next 4 days. And more importantly, I have also provided you a link for a Udemy course on the Plant Varieties Protection Act, and you can have a look at it at the end of it. Now let me read the next one. Any process for medicinal, surgical, curative, prophylactic, diagnostic, therapeutic, or other treatment of human beings, or any process for a similar treatment of animals to render them free of disease, or to increase this economic value or that of their product. Please read it again here. Okay? It's a very important thing. You know the distinction between in vitro treatment and in vivo treatment? Someone in the pharma industry can type me out an answer. People in non-pharma industry don't bother, because it's my duty to tell you. In vitro, what is it? In lab. That's okay, that's not too bad. Don't say in lab. Outside the body, very good here. 135, what's your name? Good show here. Okay, in vitro means outside the body. In vivo means inside the body. In vitro is in vivo in a cell, inside the body, correct? Inside a living being, correct? In vivo is not patentable and in vitro can be patentable. This is the thumb rule. Okay, this is the thumb rule. Okay, in vivo, in vitro under controlled condition. Okay, takes outside the body. If it is an in vitro treatment, you can patent it. If it is an in vivo treatment, you cannot patent it. This is the basic rule. First principle. I'm just trying to give you some basic guidance. Then one more. Now, okay, I'll ask you a question. Baldness. I'm bald, right? Anyone who is above 45 becomes bald. And becoming bald increases our age by 15 or 20 years. How often you see a bald woman here? Women do not face this bald problem. You know why? Why? Quiz question. How often you see a bald woman here? I'm not talking about the drug-induced alopecia. Some of you pharma people will come up with that actually, right? In the case of blood cancer medicine, most of the people lose their hair, and therefore, even before administering treatment, they shave off the hair, right? And after the chemotherapy is over, you will develop your hair again. But why don't you see only bald men and not bald women? Beautiful. I get a wonderful answer saying the baldness gene is only in the Y chromosome. Good answer, buddy. Correct. I appreciate that. Okay. Now, women have two X chromosome. Since baldness gene is in the Y chromosome, baldness is a male-specific disease. Right? Now, what is the treatment for baldness today? Some of you can type out the answers. You know, this is a very interesting question, right? Okay, if you ask me, okay, so far I was having a great health here, but today, transplantation, not too bad, good, heart transplant, Okay, good. See, I'll tell you. If you look at the baldest person, he will have two patches of hair here in the back. And you have hair here, you have hair in the armpit. Right? In the armpit, the hair is a terrible thing. So what the doctor does is, he removes the hair from your armpit and then further shrinks the skin and increases the follicle density. Right? Minoxidil is a product. Huh? Okay, good. Yeah. How expensive is that? Anyway, now there is one drug also. He is suggesting that good idea, but I am not going to really use that here. So alopecia treatment, right? Good. What is the cost here? Anyway, I don't think that it was. Don't worry. Let me not. Gene therapy is another. There are a lot of. It's a highly researched area. Now I am asking you: is baldness a disease here? No, very correct answer. But if you are a young man below 25 and you are not married, having hair in your head, does it increase the prospect of your marriage? Yes. Isn't it? Here you understand the distinction between lifestyle disease. This is a lifestyle disease. And there is something called life-saving drug. Lifestyle drug, okay, and life-saving drug. Now, there is a what do you call new use of an old drug. If it is lifestyle, it is not patentable. If it is life-saving, it will become patentable. You understand the dividing line is very, very thin actually. For example, I'll tell you a lot of things. For example, silk is an animal, silkworm. Okay. Silkworm comes in a dull yellow color. The silk, I don't know how many of you know that. I'm sure that many of you would love to have silk fabric. I love it actually. It's a natural fabric, breathes, and it has got a very great aura around that as you wear it, blah, 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 and all that. But the biggest problem in silk is dyeing it. Okay. Now, can you come up with the silkworm, biogenetically altered silkworm, that will give a black colored yarn, red colored yarn, blue colored yarn. Okay. Dyeing is one of the most environmentally dirtiest processes actually. Okay. That is going to improve the economic value. Okay. Now, this is possible by biotechnology, gene edition technology. You know that the flowers get this color of the flower as a gene that controls the secretion of a chemical called anthocyanin. Okay. You identify the anthocyanin that has got the black color quality, white color quality, red color quality. I'm sure that you must be nowadays seeing blue color bananas. How many of you have seen that? Blue color bananas. Haven't you seen that? Seen, yes. It's again, and that blue color banana smells like a vanilla ice cream here. You understand? And nowadays, the plant variety breeders are trying to have a banana that will taste like vanilla, that will taste like honey, that will taste like chocolate. These are all biogenetically modified banana plants are there. And please remember, red color banana, you must have seen, that is a traditional variety and it commands much better price in the market. Yellow color banana, you will get for 1 rupee, 2 bananas in season. 1 rupee, 1 banana is the maximum price. Whereas 1 red banana can cost you something like 15 rupees. More because of the vitamin and the mineral content. Okay. So, a treatment for the animals to increase their economic value or their produce are normally not patentable. Now let me come back to my illustration. Baldness, the therapy. Now is hair transplantation and the follicular follicle transplant surgery, that's how they call it. Is it patentable? Quick answers, type it out for me. No, yes, no. I like to see an S also now. All right. Now, please remember, let us split that. First, what the surgeon does. Can you repeat the question? The question is follicle transplant surgery a patentable invention? No. Well, yes and no. That is the correct answer actually. I'll tell you why. See, the doctor removes, first step, removal of hair from the place where there is hair. It can be your hand, it can be your chest, it can be your back of your head. But the difficulty with this hair is the density of the follicle. Discovery, no, not really. It's not discovery, my friend. I'll try to focus this, try to answer that. See, here, if you look at the follicular density, okay, there is one hair, but the next hair is more than 3 or 4 millimeter distance. Now, if I am going to put it here, it is going to jet one hair. That doesn't look good. So the surgeon, what he does, he is going to shrink the skin here to increase the follicular density. Now, this is a surgical process, right? Removal of some part of the body which contains hair. Okay. This is a surgical process, not patentable. It comes clearly under the explanation surgical. But the next step, namely shrinking the distance between the follicles, where does it take place? Any answer? It takes place outside the body. It is not a treatment. It is a chemical process. Is it in vivo or in vitro? It's in vitro. So therefore it is patentable. The second step, and there are chemicals to reduce, there are also chemicals to facilitate the increasing the follicular density. So therefore they also become patentable. I'm just trying to give you some commonly held misconceptions, right? Right. BT cotton not patented, brinjal potato, golden rice. Very good question, man. But this will be a question on your lecture on Plant Varieties Protection Act. I'm sure it's part of the syllabi and some other teacher is going to address that. But I have also put up a course on this actually. I'm going to give you links to that course. Maybe you can try that also actually. Right. Plant and animals in whole or in any part thereof, other than organisms, but including seeds, varieties, species, and essentially biological process for the production and propagation of plants and animals. They are not patentable. But since you asked about the BT cotton case, okay, I will talk about it. Now look at this here. This is the Speaking Roses case. For your Valentine Day, rose market shoots up, right? Valentine Day, February 17th, right? Okay, rose prices go up. Now, you see this rose. He has engraved, I love you, right? Okay, let me go to the previous slide. Look at this guy. See, you go to visit somebody in a hospital. He's in ICU. Okay? Or you are not allowed entry. So you normally buy fruits for people who are convalescing in hospital. That's a normal culture, right? So I am going to give them apple and oranges, bananas. So what I do is, I put my picture over the banana, over the apple, and write a message, get well soon, and sign it. It will be in my handwriting. So here, please remember in the Speaking Roses case, September 1998, applied for a patent for providing an image and an organic product, being a flower or a fruit. Subsequently, they were given the first examination route, and the patent office rejected the application on 5 major grounds. The first ground for rejection is that any part, section 3J, plant or animal is not patentable. Part of the plant or animal is not patentable. Right? So therefore, a flower having a picture, a fruit having a picture is not patentable. Now, plant and animal in whole or in any part thereof, other than microorganisms, but including seeds, varieties, species, and essentially biological process for the production and propagation of plants and animals, not patentable. So patent office said that, look here, yours is not a patentable invention. This is a case which I argued, which I myself did in Mumbai High Court actually. Justice Dowley held that the applicants were petitioner. Became apparent the patent was sought not for any flower or organic product, but for providing an image on an organic product. And hence, it was not a plant which is sought to be patented. It is a process to engrave pictures on a plant without causing surface or cellular damage to the plant, which will again affect the shelf life of the product, right? When you put affix a picture over a fruit or a flower, they are very delicate by their nature, right? When you cause a surface or cellular damage, that will decay pretty fast. So this was allowed to be patented. A mathematical or business method or a computer program per se, algorithm, they are not patented. Can you guess why? Any guess? Just type out an answer here. Is it why? Wow, constantly changing. That's not a ground. That's not a ground. Okay. Any other guess? Please go ahead here. I want to see different answers. Public utility, no again. Everything is useful and it will not become useful at some point of time, like your landline. It is a language, abstract, very good. Okay. You are all, someone has typed the right answer in between. Copyright, someone write that, right? Tell me that person gave the right answer. The reason is, computer software is considered as a literary work within the meaning of the Copyright Act. And it is protected as a literary work. During the initial stages of the software-related invention, the companies thought that a copyright is a better form of protection because a copyright is relatively more easier than a patent to acquire. Okay. You will also have lectures on copyright law, so I am not going to get into it. Very easy to acquire. Number two, literary work has got a longer duration of protection. The duration of a literary copyright is lifetime of the author and 60 years thereafter in India. Whereas patent protection is only for 20 years. The copyright has got a longer duration. Okay, 60 years and the lifetime of the author and 60 years thereafter. If there are 5 inventors of the copyright, okay, of the software, the youngest and the 50 years thereafter. Okay. So, but in software is patentable. Why? Very good question, gentlemen. Once again, I've got a course on that. 4-hour course, video course. I'm going to give you link for all those courses actually. But again, gentlemen, I just have about 75 plus 75, 150 minutes to cover the entire non-patentable invention. That's why I told you in a typical law school, we take about 15 hours to do this section 3. Why 3K in India? That's a good question. I'll tell you why. it is again a misnomer for you to think that copyright is not patentable here. Okay. I have a course. I'll try to show you the links of that course, and please. Okay. Now, literary, dramatic, musical, artistic work, or any other aesthetic creation whatsoever, including cinematographic works and television productions. Okay. Why these are not patentable? Why? Answer please. Again, copyright law protects it. You understand? How many of you have watched the movie Waterworld here? Kevin Costner? How many of you have seen the movie Waterworld? Yes. Waterworld is a very interesting movie. Okay. Right. The Waterworld is very important because they made this movie about 1 hour of the footage in that movie is underwater photography here. Okay. Now, when you want to do an underwater photography, there is something called breaking of the light. When you put a beaker, in that beaker, you put a spoon, okay? The spoon will look like it is getting broken at the place where it comes in contact with the water, right? Now, this is breaking of the light. So, underwater pictures are not good normally. So, the movie house, okay, similarly with Avatar 2 movie. Now, this underwater photography and the equipment which were made for the purpose of making this clear underwater photography became valid patent. In fact, Waterworld was not a very successful movie for them. It was produced at a lot of cost actually. But they took patents relating to underwater photography. They made special equipment that will facilitate clearer underwater photographs, and that they took a patent. Come channels like Animal Planet, National Geography, all these TV channels took licenses for the underwater photography patent, and they made the money back there actually. Anyway, that is a long story. Now, mere scheme, rule, method of performing mental act, or method of playing a game, they are not patentable inventions. Okay? How many of you watch cricket here? Something like reverse sweep, uppercut, right? Do you know all these terms? Yes, I know that some of you don't play cricket, but as a cricketer, when I was a cricketer, nobody played these strokes here because they were considered as unorthodox strokes, right? People like to play straight bat, okay? We like to play the bat like this. We will not play a cross bat, okay? But nowadays, nobody cares whether it is a straight bat or a cross bat. So long as you get a 4 or 6, that's the best thing that can happen for the team. So, mere scheme, rule or method of performing a mental act. Have you heard about the very famous Deep Blue program, IBM? Kasparov, have you heard of Kasparov? A very big guy in chess. Okay, IBM came up with a computer program called Deep Blue. This program is the best chess player in the world. And they challenged Kasparov. Kasparov won the first game. Computer won the second game. Kasparov refused to play the third game because he was very sure that computer will beat him. You understand what I am saying? At that time, Kasparov was #1 world champion in the world. Okay, theoretically it is possible nowadays, people play online chess, right? You have different gradations, different handicaps. A mere scheme, rule, method of performing a mental act, method of playing a game is not patentable. Presentation of information is not patentable. Topography of integrated circuit, artificial intelligence. That's a good question, gentlemen. Well, there have been decisions to show that Chat GPT, you know that there has been a lot of issues, and or AI is not at all patentable, yeah. Because the concept, please remember, there is no such thing as an artificial intelligence. The correct language is machine learning. How does the machine learn? It is because of the program that the human make to make the machine learn. So, method of making a machine learn made by the human can be patentable. And in fact, in South Africa, there was a case where the artificial intelligence program was identified as an author. The South African Patent Office rejected the naming of artificial intelligence as one of the inventor. The artificial intelligence can never become an inventor. The person who made the machine learn, okay, that will become a subject matter of a patent actually. Now let me go back to something else, okay. Let me go back. Previous, somebody else. Okay, A will come under the subject of 3. What is it? Type again. Okay. Type again, gentlemen. Sometime machine can give a wrong result. Yes. Please remember, not all patents are wonderful patents. There are a lot of useless patents there. Like your dimple making device, right? The topography of an integrated circuit, Petri dish design. Design is different, patent is different actually, okay? I am not knowing what is your preference, patent registration, or is it a design registration? Okay, why topography of integrated circuit is not patentable? Any guesses? Because there is a special legislation by name topography of integrated circuit, okay? There is a special legislation. So therefore, semiconductor chips and the topography of integrated circuit is not a patentable invention. Now, this is the last part, P. An invention which in effect is traditional knowledge, of which aggregation, duplication, known properties or additionally known component or component is not patentable. For example, you must have known haldi, turmeric, okay? Medicinal properties of the turmeric was patented. Now I have been seeing a lot of patent applications for the purified, stabilized cow's urine, gomutra. Anyway, it is being used as a palliative drug in some of the cancer treatments also. Some of it, we all know that cow's dung has got antiseptic properties. That is why my household, when I was a kid, every day morning, a maid will come, what I call dissolve the cow dung, and then, put it in front of the house. So people who get into the house, usually without chappal, will always walk over the place. The basic reason is, when they walk over it and come in my house, the leg will be free of bacteria. This is traditional knowledge. You understand what I am saying? And there are lots of traditional knowledge. For example, haldi. A housewife cuts vegetable. When she cuts vegetable, she cuts her finger, there is a bleeding. So what will she do? She will take a pinch of turmeric, put the turmeric in the finger and go around with the cocaine. Okay, can traditional knowledge be patentable? Good question. The answer is, can an improvement to traditional knowledge, the question should be whether an incremental innovation to traditional knowledge can be patentable? The answer is, if it complies with novelty, utility, non-obviousness, statutory subject matter, all this, if the incremental innovation complies with these four requirements, then it is patentable. And I see questions on plant varieties protection. Okay. I want to prescribe to you some case law. Okay. In this slide is a 16-minute lecture. This is the Erickson case. Have a look at it later point of time. I am running short of time, but I am trying to tell you omeprazole case study is there also actually. These are my YouTube video lectures here. Okay. 15 minutes each. This is free. Okay. And I have been given very little time. Patent law is one aspect of IPR. Right. And the diploma course that you have from Nalsar does not make you a professional. It will definitely increase your employability. I know that our course has got a lot of market recognition, and we have turned out more patent law literate people, and many of our learners have used our diploma for the purpose of improving their job prospects. Sure, we know that it does. But that does not make you an IPR professional. So, I recommend all of you who are undergoing this course to take the patent agent exam. Okay? And that makes you equivalent to a patent lawyer. Because once you become a patent agent, you can do cases relating to patent law in courts, in controller of patent. Plus, it's a standalone occupation. You can also become a trademark agent, and in matters relating to IP, it is important for you to take what is known as a comprehensive approach for the protection of IPR. Now, in order for you to take, it requires a bachelor degree in science. Yes, you are right actually. But if you are an arts person, you can take the trademark agent qualifying examination. Right? In that case also you remain the IP lawyer. If you are an IP lawyer, you can also give consultancy. Please remember, patent, trademark, copyright, design, geographical indicator, plant variety protection, semiconductor chip layout, trade secrets, and you have this new generation IPR, namely data exclusivity, Hutch-Waxman, right? Pediatric exclusivity, okay, again Hutch-Waxman. Plus you have orphan drug protection, right? These are new forms of IPR, okay? Now, for you to have a successful IPR, you can see IPR for any person in basic sciences, pharma, chemical, computer, it's a necessary incidental soft skill here. But you must take what is known as a comprehensive approach for the protection of IPR. And for that, you should take the exam and qualify yourself. Our diploma will help you to get a better job, surely. It doesn't make you a professional. And if you are having a science degree, if you take the patent agent exam, science engineering degree, computer science, okay. IT also, economics, BSc cannot. There now people, universities give BSc in applied economy. They cannot take the patent agent examination, but okay. But don't worry, people should have a scientific bent of mind. Qualify yourself in the patent agent examination training. How many of you have heard of the Udemy here, the learning platform? Okay. Yes, please download the Udemy. I have put up several courses. The first course is Patent Agent Examination Training. This is a 11-hour video, right? How many hours? 11 hours. Okay. And today I got only 150 minutes, 2.5 hours. It was humanly impossible for me to cover everything. I can only give you a passing reply. Yes, sir. I am giving you the link. What are the government jobs for PG diploma? If you have a science degree and if you qualify in the patent agent examination or the trademark agent examination, government is recruiting lot of examiners. But let me tell you again, the diploma will definitely be an added advantage. But if you qualify in the examination, your job becomes certain. Okay. Examiner in patent office is a very good job. Class 1 officer's position. Even if you become an examiner at the age of 30 or 35, before you retire at the age of 60, you will become the deputy controller. For your information, Albert Einstein, one of the greatest, I have masters in food science and technology. Definitely, yes sir, patent agent exams are quite open for you. Okay, so take the examination. Now, for you to qualify in the examination, I have put these courses. Number 1, Patent Agent Examination Training. It is a 10-hour video course. Yes, I have masters in organic chemistry. You will qualify for patent agent examination as well as trademark agent qualifying examination. Take both the examination. Any one of it you pass, you become a... Sir, please give links to these courses. It is there?
The links are there, but we'll give them the PPT. It will be in the PPT. They can.
No, I am giving you the PPT, and the PPT will be circulated to the entire class, and it will have the link. This is everything about industrial property right again is a 10-hour, 11-hour program. Okay. It will make you understand what is patent, trademark, copyright, design, plant varieties. And please remember, being a patent agent necessarily involves having knowledge of other IPR also. Otherwise, you can't be a standalone professional in the market. Then, public interest healthcare concerns in the Indian patent regime. This is a 4-hour course. Okay. And the patent specification drafting. This is again a 4-hour course actually. My email ID is murlimanu@gmail.com here. muralimanu@gmail.com. M-U-R-A.
It is in slide 1.
It's in slide 1 here. Go back to the slide. You have my phone. You have 2 email IDs. Okay. Slide 1. So, please request me for the links. I will give you the links actually. Okay. And mind you, these courses, normal prices range between 2,000 to 4,000 rupees. Udemy is now having what is known as a Black Friday sale. Most of these courses cost you as little as 389 rupees there. 10-hour video courses. The usual price is something like 4,000. But because they are giving this Black Friday sale before the Christmas, these courses are available for as low as 389 rupees. I will of course be forwarding this PPT which will contain links for this, but you can always ask me over the email. I will generate highly discounted coupon for enrollment. Sometimes, I put my courses also complimentary. Okay, so become a member of the Empowering Educators group. There is a Facebook group, Empowering Educator. Okay, search for it. In that I put complimentary subscriptions also. But now you have what I call as a Black Friday sale. That's the sale they call it, right? Enroll in my courses And if you want, write to me to murlimanu@gmail.com or advocate or murlidharan@gmail.com. And thank you very much. Thank you.
You know.